Hi students, as a part of addition or chain growth polymerization. So today I am going to discuss about the mechanism involved in addition or chain growth polymerization. So in order to understand the mechanism involved in addition or chain growth polymerization, first and foremost you have to understand what exactly is the mechanism. And what exactly is the mechanism I have clearly explained in the previous video which I have made on the addition or chain growth polymerization. Anyhow, I am going to recap what is the mechanism in this video as well. That is, the mechanism is the systematic representation of the overall reaction by which we can know the role of each and every reactant and the reagent which is a part of the chemical reaction. That is, what exactly is happening during the chemical reaction between the reactant and the reagent, and how the reagent is converting the reactant into the product can be visualized by means of the mechanism. Now do remember that the mechanism of the addition or chain growth polymerization can be initiated by two substances. The one is the free radical and the second one is ion. So based upon the initiator which initiates the addition or chain growth polymerization, there are two types of mechanisms involved in addition or chain growth polymerization. The one is free radical mechanism and the second one is ionic mechanism. So now we are going to discuss about the free radical mechanism. But before going to discuss the free radical mechanism, first and foremost we have to discuss what exactly is the free radical and what are the general substances you are going to come across throughout the free radical mechanism. I am going to explain now. After completion of the basics which are useful to understand the mechanism of the addition or chain growth polymerization by the free radical, I will explain later. So first and foremost, we are supposed to discuss about the free radical. What is the free radical? Free radical. So do remember students, so without these basics, without understanding these basics, it is not easy or it is a very toughest job to understand the free radical mechanism or ionic mechanism. So listen carefully. So what is the free radical? Free radical is nothing but odd electron containing species. Odd electron containing species is the free radical. So odd electron containing species means it comprises either the 1 electron in it, or 3 electrons on it, or 5 electrons on it, or 7 electrons on it. That is odd number of electrons containing species. And already I have discussed in so many videos that none of the substance wants to be in the individual or ionic form. They want to be in the combined form. So accordingly, if the free radical contains 1 electron, so definitely it wants to gain another electron to become 2. And if the free radical contains 3 electrons on it, in order to get stabilized, it will react with another electron to become 4. If the free radical comprises the 5 electrons, so it will react with another electron which is in the vicinity and convert into 6. So based upon this, we can say that the free radical is least stable. It is least stable because what is happening if it is having the 1 electron, what it is doing? It is reacting with the other electron which is present in its vicinity, right? In order to get paired up. Once it gets paired up, what will happen? It attains the stability. So as these are least stable substances, so definitely we can say that these are highly reactive species, highly reactive substances, because stability is inversely proportional to reactivity. So the free radicals are The free radicals are highly reactive species. And these free radicals can be represented by dot. Can be represented by dot. So dot on the substance. Let us say that A is a substance or the atom on which dot is present. So dot represents the free radical. Dot represents the free radical. So this is about the free radical. This is about the free radical. Now do remember that this particular free radicals are generated in the organic molecules. So why I am emphasizing the organic molecules? Because the polymers are the organic molecules. So since the polymers are the organic molecules, definitely we have to discuss the polymers in terms of organic molecules or organic reactions. Now these free radicals are generated by means of one of the cleavage which is possible between the two adjacent atoms in the organic molecule. That cleavage is homolytic cleavage. So do remember that as the polymer comes under the category of organic molecules, definitely we have to discuss about what are the types of cleavages or fissions are possible in the organic molecules. So do remember that two types of cleavages or fission is possible in the organic molecules between the two adjacent atoms. The one fission is homolytic fission or homolytic cleavage. Homolytic fission or homolytic cleavage. Cleavage or fission, you can say that. And the second one is heterolytic cleavage. Heterolytic cleavage or heterolytic fission. Now, let us see. When this homolytic cleavage takes place in between the two adjacent atoms in the organic molecule, whenever there is no electronegativity difference or less electronegativity difference between the two adjacent atoms in the organic molecule, then homolytic cleavage takes place. Homolytic cleavage takes place. Right? Homolytic cleavage takes place. For example, let us take A and B, the bond between A and B. Now let us say that the electronegativity difference between A and B is less, or in order to avoid the ambiguity, I will take the same molecule comprised of A and A. A and A. Right? Now both the atoms are 1 and same. So since both the atoms are 1 and same, we can say that the electronegativity is 1 and same. There is no electronegativity difference between the A and A because the atoms are 1 and same. So when there is no electronegativity difference or less electronegativity difference between the two adjacent atoms, then homolytic cleavage takes place. Now in this A and A, both are the same atoms. Since both are the same atoms, so definitely homolytic cleavage takes place because there is no electronegativity difference between the same atoms. And homolytic cleavage can be represented by Fischer-Hook arrow mark. Can be represented by Fischer-Hook arrow mark. And after the homolytic cleavage, whatever the atom which is at the head part of the arrow mark and tail part of the arrow mark, both gets free radical only. Both gets free radical only. Now let us say that the electrons are moving from this A to this A. Moving from this A to A, this A. So we can shift we can orient this arrow mark heading towards the left A or heading towards the right A, because there is no electronegativity difference between the two adjacent AA because both are 1 and same. So since both are 1 and same, so this arrow mark can be headed towards the right A or headed towards the left A. Now, after the homolytic cleavage, what I have said? After the homolytic cleavage, whatever the atom which is present at the head part as well as the tail part of the arrow mark, both gets the free radicals only. Now A Left A is at the tail part. So since it is at the tail part, gets the free radical plus, and this right A is at the head part of the homolytic cleavage. So it will also get the free radical. And the bond between the AA is being cleaved. Right. So this is about the homolytic cleavage. This is about the homolytic cleavage. Right. So do remember that this particular homolytic cleavage is only possible when there is no electronegativity difference or less electronegativity difference between the two adjacent atoms in an organic molecule. And after the homolytic cleavage, whatever the atom which is present at the head part of the arrow mark as well as at the tail part of the arrow mark both gets the free radicals only. And free radicals are odd number of electron containing spaces, and these are highly reactive. Why these are highly reactive already I have explained earlier. Now coming to another cleavage or another fission which is possible in the organic molecules is heterolytic cleavage. Now let us see when the heterolytic cleavage takes place between the two adjacent atoms in an organic molecule. Heterolytic cleavage when the electronegativity difference between the two adjacent atoms is more than heterolytic cleavage takes place. When the electronegativity difference between the two adjacent atoms in an organic molecule, then heterolytic cleavage takes place. And heterolytic cleavage is represented by fully headed arrow mark. Fully headed arrow mark. Now do remember that the direction of arrow mark represents the flow of electrons. Direction of arrow mark represents the flow of electrons. Flow of electrons. That is, whatever the atom which is present at the head part of the heterolytic cleavage will get the negative charge, and whatever the atom which is at the tail part after the heterolytic cleavage will get the positive charge. Because the direction of arrow mark represents the flow of electrons. So in order to simplify, I will consider one example. Example of A, B. So A and B are the adjacent atoms. Now let us say that the electronegativity difference between the A and B is more. Let us say that the B is more electronegative when compared to A. Now since B is more electronegative when compared to A, what will happen, students? What is electronegativity? Electronegativity is the tendency to gain the electrons. Always the electronegative atom wants to gain the electrons. Gain the electrons. In order to gain the electrons, it will pull the electrons from the adjacent atoms. From the adjacent atom. Now, what is the adjacent atom with respect to the most electronegative B? The adjacent atom with respect to the most electronegative B is A. Accordingly, the flow of electrons takes place towards B. The flow of electrons is taking place towards B means what, students? That is flow of electrons. What is the charge of the electrons? Electrons are negatively charged. Now then the flow of negatively charged particles are taking place towards B. So since the flow of negatively charged particles which are so called as electrons is taking place towards B, B gets the negative charge. B gets the negative charge. Plus the bond has been cleaved. Now A. Now what is happening, students, here? The flow of electrons is taking place from A to B. Since the flow of electrons is taking place from A to B, A is losing the electrons. A is losing the electrons means what is the charge of the electrons? Electrons are negatively charged particles. Since A is losing the electrons, we can say that A is losing the negatively charged particles. Since A is losing the negatively charged particles, what will be the charge acquired by A? So since it is losing the negatively charged particles, the charge which is resulted or acquired by A is positive. Yes, positive. Yes, positive. Now this knowledge of homolytic cleavage and heterolytic cleavage is very important in order to understand any of the mechanism involved in organic reaction. students. Right. I hope you understood this homolytic cleavage and heterolytic cleavage, when the homolytic cleavage is possible and when the heterolytic cleavage is possible. Right. Now, do remember that homolytic cleavage especially occurs under photolytic condition. That is, in presence of sunlight, homolytic cleavage takes place most frequently. I'm not saying that only in presence of sunlight homolytic cleavage takes place, but most frequently homolytic cleavage is possible in the organic molecules whenever the organic molecule is subjected to sunlight in presence of H2. I hope you understood what is a free radical and how many types of cleavages or fissions are possible in the organic molecules, which converts the reactant to the product in the presence of a reagent. So that was about the free radical, types of organic cleavages, types of cleavages or fissions which are possible between the two adjacent atoms in the organic molecule. Now next. Now our heading was actually the free radical mechanism, right? Free radical mechanism, based upon which criteria this classification has been made into free radical mechanism and ionic mechanism, based upon the initiator, right? If the addition or chain growth polymerization is initiated by the free radical, then the mechanism is called as free radical mechanism. On the other hand, if it is initiated by ion, then it is called as ionic mechanism. Now, if the initiator is the free radical, then addition or chain growth polymerization is possible by the free radical, right? Now, for that, definitely we need one substance which can initiate the chain, So what is that substance which initiates the chain? The substance which initiates the chain is chain initiator. The substance which initiates the chain is chain initiator. So yesterday in the sense in the previous video which I have made on the addition or chain growth polymerization, I have said that the ethylene is converted into polyethylene in the presence of benzoyl peroxide, right? But the question mark is, what is the role of benzoyl peroxide? Now I am going to discuss what is the role of benzoyl peroxide. So benzoyl peroxide is the chain initiator which initiate the chain by which the addition or chain growth polymerization starts or initiates. Now, you will be in a dilemma that what is the structure of the benzoyl peroxide? Right? What is the structure of benzoyl peroxide? Because the concept is missing. That is how the structures are being formed. The students are very scary of the structures, very scary of the organic structures, because literally you will memorize or mug up or buttify the structures by writing each and every structure on the paper for 15 to 20 times. Don't memorize, students. None of the structure should be memorized. You have to remember the structure. You have to remember the structure conceptually, but don't memorize. Now, what is the structure of benzoyl peroxide, which is the chain initiator, which is initiating the addition or chain growth polymerization by which free radical mechanism is possible? I'm going to give that structure. So, for getting the structure of benzoyl peroxide, which is the chain initiator, so we have to come up with the known structure. So do remember that if the unknown structure is given to you, so definitely you have to remember its structure with the help of the known structures, right? So that known structure by which we can get the structure of benzoyl peroxide is benzoic acid. So in order to get the structure of the benzoyl peroxide, benzoic acid is the starting material. starting material. Now we know benzoic acid, pH, C double bond OH. Now, in order to get the structure of the benzoyl peroxide from the benzoic acid, we need to combine the benzoic acid molecules and we have to remove the hydrogen molecule from the benzoic acid molecules. So, this is how the benzoyl peroxide molecule structure is being resulted by the combination of two benzoic acid molecules. That is pH, C double bond O, OH, right. So what is this, students? Benzoic acid, already we know this. This is a known structure, but unknown structure is benzoyl peroxide. And with the help of the known structure only, we have to get the unknown structure. The known structure for getting the benzoyl peroxide is benzoic acid. Now take the mirror image of it. So if we take the mirror image of it, the OH comes here, next followed by C double bond O, next to pH. So this is also the benzoic acid. So I'm not saying that this is how the benzoyl peroxide is being prepared, making use of the benzoic acid. I'm saying that benzoyl peroxide structure can be remembered with the help of the structure of the benzoic acid. That is my intention. I'm not saying that with the help of the combination of the two benzoic acid molecules, we are going to get the benzoyl peroxide. We are going to get the benzoyl peroxide structure. I'm talking only in terms of structure. Now, in order to get the structure of benzoyl peroxide, what we need to do is, we have to remove the hydrogen, which is a part of hydroxy of one benzoic acid, and another hydrogen from another hydroxy of the second benzoic acid. So this hydrogen and this hydrogen should be removed. Right. So we are removing the hydrogen and the hydrogen. So 2 moles of hydrogen, that is H2, is being eliminated. So once H2 is being eliminated, whatever the structure which is being obtained is benzoyl peroxide. Now, is there any change at the pH, students? There is no change. Is there any change at the C double bond O? No change. Is there any change of oxygen? No change. But this hydrogen has been lost along with another hydrogen of hydroxy of another benzoic acid in the form of hydrogen molecule. So hydrogen will not be attached to the oxygen. Now this hydrogen is not there and this hydrogen is not there. Now oxygen links to another oxygen of the second benzoic acid molecule. O, 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 O. Next, there is no change in the C double bond O. Next, pH, there is no change in the pH. So this is the benzoyl peroxide. So this is how you have to get the structure of benzoyl peroxide, but don't memorize the structure of the benzoyl peroxide by writing it on the paper for 10 to 20 times like that. So this is how, it's very simple to get the structure of any of the organic molecule with the help of the known structure of the molecules, with the structures of the known molecules. So these are the basics which are required in order to understand the mechanism involved in addition or chain growth polymerization. With the help of these basics, I am going to explain the free radical mechanism involved in addition or chain growth polymerization. Right. So dear students, so please do watch this video. Without watching this particular video, if you watch the next video, which will be exclusively made on the free radical mechanism, it becomes very tough to understand. I hope you understood this concept. So making use of this concept, we are going to discuss about the free radical mechanism in the next video. Thanks for watching, students. Please do comment on the video.